Good morning, everyone. Good morning, everyone. My name is Dr. Braden Ayers. I'm your guest choir conductor this morning. Please join us. Welcome, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. Please join us in singing our opening hymn, number 317, We Are Not Our Own. Stand as you're able.
Good morning. Welcome to First Unitarian Portland. We're a multi-generational, spiritually inclusive, and justice-centered community. We're so glad that you're with us here today in the sanctuary and those of you joining us online as well. And we're glad to welcome the newcomers and the folks that have been with us for many years. My name is Dana Buell, and I serve the congregation as the Director of Social Justice. And it's our joy this morning to welcome again Reverend Mitra Rahnema to our pulpit. She's been with us several times. And also Dr. Braden Ayers back to lead our choir this morning. If you're new or visiting today, I want to invite you just after the service to meet with with Jen Thomas, our Director of Congregational Life, over in the side gallery for a welcome circle. And then at 12:30 today, we'll have our all-church picnic near the Rose Garden at Peninsula Park. So everyone is invited. And the pool will be open if you have a swimsuit and bathing suit that you'd like to bring, but please do bring lunch or snacks to join us for the picnic. Now is the time to register children for our learning community starting this fall. Our homecoming will be September 7th when we kick off the new church year with a multi-generational service. And then throughout September, our learning community will offer programming and community building activities for our children and youth. Next week is our question box service when Reverend Allison will be answering your questions. So if you have a question you'd like to submit, you can either do that out in the narthex after the service, or you can, if you're online, go to Q&A at firstunitarianportland.org. Also next Sunday, just after the service, you're invited to tour our 13 Salmon Shower project. We'll start in the Buchanan building with snacks and a short film, and then our volunteer team will guide you downstairs to the shower project space to experience the warmth and welcome with which we greet our unhoused neighbors Wednesdays and Thursdays every week. So if you're curious about the shower project or think you might like to volunteer, this will be a great chance for you to come and see us. So let's take a few moments to greet our neighbors here or online. Reverend Mitra will light our chalice here in the sanctuary, and we invite those of you online to join us as well. So please join as we say, "We are Unitarian Universalists. We light this chalice in faith, in hope, and in love."
All right, folks, it's going to happen. You got that? I'm going to try this one more time. Ah.
Yay!
Wait, hold your breath.
Okay.
I can't believe that. It was a little embarrassing because I joked that I went to seminary to learn how to light a candle. Good morning, and thank you for inviting me into your pulpit and joining you this morning. Congratulations to all of you. You've weathered the morning and contended coordination and muddled with your thoughts and your to-do lists, and you made it to church. You have arrived. So take notice. Take notice of this place where you can still your body. Take notice of the people, known and unknown, that you share this place and time. Take notice of those you miss, but remain in your heart. Take notice of the love that is ever present, felt or unfelt. Take notice of the synergy of all within and outside these walls, and open yourself to the possibility that now is the time for it to all become holy. You are called into worship. you're invited to rise in body or in spirit to sing our doxology, Spirit of Life.
It's our custom to share our Sunday offering with organizations that reflect our values of justice and community care. So this summer, our plate offerings are dedicated to UU organizations. And this week and next week, we share our plate with Trust, Transgender Religious Professional UUs Together. This is an organization of trans Unitarian Universalists who are living out a call to ministry. Its mission is to advocate for the gifts, safety, liberation, and leadership of trans religious professionals in Unitarian Universalist ministries and institutions. In a moment, our ushers will pass baskets in the sanctuary for offerings by cash or check. And if you'd like to share your offering online, you can use the QR code on the screen or here in the sanctuary on the little yellow cards in the back of the seat back in front of you. Thank you very much for your generosity, which helps us to sustain the mission of this church and our community partners. We make space each week to hold the joys, sorrows, and transitions of our members and friends. You can fill out a prayer request or request to share a milestone aloud during the service by going to our website, firstunitarianportland.org, and clicking on Pastoral Care under Worship and Ministry. You can also share private concerns by lighting a candle and writing a prayer of intention in either of the right or left galleries, or by using that same pastoral care form that I mentioned on the website. Your ministers and lay ministers receive them and pray with you throughout the week. A few milestones to share, or a couple. Milena Weller is recovering well from surgery earlier this week, and she looks forward to seeing us at the picnic this afternoon. A joyful milestone as well is that Steve Chamberlain and Lucy Allison were married in our Elliott Chapel yesterday afternoon. So we want to congratulate Lucy and Steve and know that it's a blessing to celebrate your union. So let's lovingly hold these milestones and the many other joys and sorrows unspoken among us as we enter into a spirit of prayer and presence. A spirit of love and life. We greet this new day with gratitude. In these times that seem to be moving so fast, we are grateful for the gift to pause in community to nourish our spirits. We each hold so much: attention for personal transitions, losses and worries, concern for our families, neighborhoods, and communities. Many of us find ourselves shrinking from the daily onslaught of threats and attacks on people and peoples, on the values we hold dear, and on our Mother Earth. We hold all of this while we tend to the daily acts of living and wonder, what can I do? It's too much. May our time together in this community be a touchstone, a reminder to pause throughout our days, to notice we are breathing, to let our senses behold the beauty and magic of life, to take the time to connect with who and what we love, to ground ourselves in community, and to use that grounding to guide our actions with love at the center. May there be peace within us. May there be peace in our homes and communities. May there be peace in this land and across the globe. May there be peace. Peace. Amen. So let's take a few moments of stillness and meditation together. You can remain seated as Braden leads us in our hymn, From You I Receive. Today's reading is an excerpt from Have You Ever Tried to Enter the Long Black Branches by Mary Oliver. Have you ever tried to enter the long black branches of others' lives? Tried to imagine what the crisp fringes full of honey hanging from the branches of young locust trees in early morning feel like? Do you think this world was only an entertainment for you? Never to enter the sea and notice how the water divides with perfect courtesy to let you in. Never to lie down on the grass as though you were the grass. Never to leap to the air as you open your wings over the dark acorn of your heart. No wonder we hear in your mournful voice the complaint that something is missing from your life. Who can open the door who does not reach for the latch? Who can travel the miles who does not put one foot in front of the other, all attentive to what presents itself continually? Who will behold the inner chamber who has not observed with admiration, even with rapture, the outer stone? Well, there is time left. Fields everywhere invite you into them.
That was amazing. Thank you. I thank you again for having me here and for Reverend Allison for sharing her pulpit with me. Years ago, I heard this story told by the musician Arlo Guthrie that inspired this sermon. The story is of Joseph in the Hebrew Bible. So the story goes, Joseph had a bunch of brothers, but their dad liked Joseph best, so he gave him this really fancy coat of many colors. This made the brothers so jealous. But then one day, when it was time to take the sheep out to pasture, Joseph, who was kind of known for having these really intense dreams, slept in or something like that because he was late. And when he got up, his dad, a little bit annoyed, said, "Get out there, go find out how your brothers are doing. Come back and let me know." So Joseph, a little groggy, heads out to go to where they're supposed to be, but his brothers are not there. Oh no, his dad's going to be mad. So he's looking around and he sees this man standing in the field. And this man sees Joseph and says, "What are you looking for?" And Joseph says, "I'm looking for my brothers." And the man says, "I think they went that way." So Joseph heads out. But meanwhile, the brothers, who are jealous of him because of, that fancy coat, have been seething about him. So when they see him coming, they capture him and they sell him to a caravan that just happens to be coming by. Later, the brothers go home and they tell the dad he was attacked and he died. Well, the caravan ends up in Egypt and they sell Joseph to someone, and then they sold him again and again and so forth. And anyways, Joseph ends up in jail, where he meets a man who is having some really bad dreams. But Joseph is good with dreams. He has experience. So he helps this fellow prisoner out so he can be at peace. And the guy says, "If I ever get out, I'm going to help you." Sure enough, this guy gets out, ends up working for the Pharaoh. When the Pharaoh starts to have bad dreams, everyone gets really nervous because, a Pharaoh is a Pharaoh. We don't want bad dreams there. But this man remembers Joseph and tells the Pharaoh, "Hey, I know somebody who can help with the dreams." So they go and they get him out of prison, and the Pharaoh tells Joseph his dreams. And Joseph interprets the dreams and saying, "Okay, here's the scoop. You will have 7 good years, really good with rain and plenty of crops, but it will be followed by 7 bad years. No rain, no crops, nothing." And the Pharaoh decides to put Joseph in charge. And Joseph begins to save up resources during those good times. And they were good. And he stored. But 7 years later, the bad times came. And it's real bad. Bad everywhere, even up north on the family farm. It's so bad that Jacob, Joseph's father, sends his sons down to Egypt and say, "See if any things are better there. It's so bad here." So they go down, and lo and behold, they run into Joseph. But they're scared because, they sold him into slavery. But Joseph says, don't worry about it. Go and get Dad and the whole family. We're going to be all right. I prepared. So the whole family moves down to Egypt, and they survive those bad times, and then things are good for a while, and generation after generation, until there's a really bad Pharaoh, and the grandkids are enslaved, and then there's Moses to lead them out of slavery, and 40 years in the desert, and David and Goliath, and eventually Jesus comes, and the whole story's continued. You've heard it all before. Amen. In the retelling of this story, Arlo Guthrie says, "Don't forget that all of this history, the survival of humanity, religion, faith, and testament, all of it depends on this one unknown, anonymous dude standing in the field saying they went that way." Without that man, there's nothing. Without that man, there's no Joseph, no Egypt, no Israel, no Jesus, no nothing. One known, anonymous dude. The intersection of our lives, the places that we cross paths, can be simple, but yet pivotal in unknown and often forgotten ways. We are all on a journey. We explore and examine and reflect and shape and direct and redirect, sculpt our own journeys, trying to be bold enough and brave enough and maybe even wise enough to do the right thing and continue the discovery of our essential humanness. Also, we are all, each and collectively, part of a lot of other people's journey too. We witness and inquire and influence and shape and even sculpt the experience of each journey. Sometimes it's pointing in a direction. Other times it's the embrace of a vulnerable heart. You are all of it. Perhaps one of the most famous stories about life's journeys is about a girl named Alice, whose curiosity leads her into a rabbit hole. Alice's journey begins with the tears of a baby which almost drown her. They're so strong. Then with pieces of a mushroom, she grows and shrinks in all sorts of ways. She wanders, she faces what it's like to be a guest, having overnights and learning all sorts of odd rules, trying to follow social convention in a place called Wonderland. She's given impossible riddles to solve, and eventually she makes friends and finds her own empowerment. She stands up for herself just before she finds out it's all just a dream. The journey of Alice in Wonderland has been analyzed and adapted and remade over and over since its writing 150 years ago. The analyzing often centers us with Alice and rarely centers the characters who have impact on her journey. Excuse me for my water break. Rarely do we actually embody those characters around her, such as the white rabbit talking to himself, I'm late for a very important date. He's anxious and uncertain in contrast to Alice's sort of youthful audacity, which led her into the rabbit hole in the first place. He is anxious. That contrast between curiosity and anxiety sets the stage for the whole story, really. It sets the stage for all of relationship. Then, of course, there's that caterpillar. He asks, "Who are you?" Alice responds, "I hardly know. I mean, I've changed so many times just since this morning. Everything is so confusing." As the caterpillar turns into a butterfly, he teaches her how to cope, giving her knowledge to change her size by eating mushrooms, enabling her to adapt to the environment. Let's not forget that grinning Cheshire cat engaging Alice in conversation. Although annoying to Alice, the cat is the only one who actually listens and engages her. You guys are going to have to be patient because I clearly have a tickle in my throat. So sorry. Eventually, Alice asks this cat which way to go. And the cat says, "Well, where do you want to go?" And she says, "It doesn't really matter." And the cat says, "Well, then it doesn't matter which way you go." Alice says, "But I don't want to go around mad people." And the cat says, "You're not going to be able to help that. We're all mad. I'm mad. You're mad." Through conversation, he eventually is teaching Alice rules of engagement. But then she encounters the Mad Hatter, who's always having 6 o'clock tea because the Queen had accused him of murdering time. But the Mad Hatter breaks rules and celebrates nonsense, and perhaps comments on the nonsense of sense by filling the time with unanswerable riddles and incomplete poetry. Within his cursed container of tea, he lives out this container of convention, he lives outside, of the container of convention, even the convention of Wonderland. But he tramples over normality, and Alice begins to get fed up, which she needs. She needs that spirit, which actually becomes the beginning of her own empowerment. Witnessing the Mad Hatter is a sort of inspiration to her. Because, let's not forget that Queen of Hearts, known for saying, "Off with her head," although she never actually follows through on it. She's described as being an ungovernable passion. By resistance to the Queen, Alice finds herself. I can't solve my problem. Each character in this story, in any story, is actually on their own journey of life and time and struggle and transformation, each affecting the other. The dramatic rabbit on the go drawing out her curiosity, the caterpillar helping her figure out who she is, the cat offering skills to live in society, and the hatter who encourages her to break outside the structure of society. The queen who gives her the opportunity to do just that, claiming her ground. So which character are you? I really relate to that dude standing in the field saying, "Go that way." But really recognizing our impact on another. What is your impact on another? Is asking yourself over and over again, who are you? Because really it's, who are you in relationship to a shared life? What influence do you have on the world? What do you contribute to society? Do you build structures for people to thrive? Do you offer comfort to a weary soul? Do you ask questions or encourage trust? Do you teach rules or do you teach breaking the rules? Are you aware of the journey you are touching, directly and indirectly? A while ago, I encountered this website that has invented words, which is odd because, wait, isn't that all of them? But that's just too philosophical. I'm not really like that. They try to find more nuanced words for emotions we might experience, and I found the word sonder. Sonder has roots in a probing sound, such as a sound wave using to establish the depths. But the meaning of this invented word is the realization that each random passerby is living a life as vivid and complex as your own. To recognize the vividness and complexity of each passerby. The experience of another's life, the deep complexity, that probing sound, the arc of the multitudes of journeys all around needs a term that can refer to what we call open minds and open heart and loving hearts, to sonder. Establishing that vivid, complex depth of another, those strangers we encounter as we do errands or explore the city or the land or come to church, as well as those most intimate to us, whose lives are in the same lane as us, who we live with, we are in meetings with, we break bread with. Establishing the vivid, complex depth of another. To sonder is this experience. Perhaps it's spiritual because it's so big, requiring us to open ourselves and use our talents or our ideals of observation and inquiry and compassion towards recognizing the other. Not just once, but over and over again. It reminds me of words from Audre Lorde that has resonated with my heart's deepest longing. She said, "I do not want to be tolerated or misnamed. I want to be recognized." To sonder is to spiritually recognize a life as true and full as our own. To do so across racial, ability, class, and gender identity is to make our own life fuller and truer. It also means recognizing the vivid complexity of our own lives. Not to sonder is to lose out on your own humanity. Theologically, this moves us from a framework of I to a deeper understanding of we, from a personal theology to a collective theology. All sorts of we's, we as in family, friends, congregation, we as passerbys, and in the shared existence of the earth, or some might call Wonderland. Creating the we is creating a divine instrument that circles around us and captures that probing sound of our collective synergy. It's not surrendering the I, rather recognizing that our existence is because of the shared experience. It is to sonder. And then because we can never really wholly step outside of the experience of I, we are all ultimately and forever in our own skins. That's the truth of life. We return to ourselves, knowing ourselves more deeply with the awareness of another. Unitarian Universalists ask us to honestly and perhaps awkwardly contend with how we join the journey of another, how we sonder as a practice of faith. We have not realized this, our beloved reality, just as we have not realized a beloved community, but we are faithfully set up to try. Years ago, I was contacted by youth. Every now and then, ministers get called because somebody's doing a school project and they have to learn about a faith that they've never heard of before. So we get a call and they come in and want to do an interview. They asked about our relationship to God, Unitarian Universalist relationship to God. And I explained, rather than an individual relationship with God, we are concerned with the collective, sacred interaction. So it matters to us who we share this space with and how they are doing. It matters to us to affirm those who are most marginalized, because it's not just the I. Because we have a horizontal relationship with what we consider holy. The experience of all influences our individual experience. We often forget this as we believe also in personal agency, but the impact, the horizontal impact of what is holy is still present. The we is about honoring interdependence. We can listen to the sorrows of one another. We can create inclusive institutions. We can offer care. We can grow and be brave and be loving. We can embrace the marginalized in our world and the marginalized within each one of you. We can counter oppression. We can return the world to right relationship. We can go down the rabbit hole. We can tell one another what we like, appreciate, encourage. We can say, go that way, knowing that those words are the words that might make everything else happen, shaping the whole world. It's amazing to me how complex a single life is. Less than a grain of sand in this whole vast universe, yet a whole galaxy just inside one person. We should not sonder in the name of salvation. We are not able to save another, rather sonder for our own salvation. Because when we only think of our own complexity, our own realities, our own opinions and interpretations, we also see only the surface of another. And we actually don't go very deep ourselves. In truth, recognizing the vivid and complex life of another will lift our spirits, avoid the trappings of navel-gazing, and enrich our sense of meaning, saving us from ourselves. There are so many galaxies right here, right now. It could take lifetimes to truly be present to each and every one of us just here. I, like many, watch myself get wrapped up in my own needs. I forget things like interpretation can leave a lasting mark on another, or my anger can scare another, or my embrace might change a life. So as religious people, we come together, we remind ourselves that we remind ourselves of the we, and then we return again and again to that conscious attentiveness to the journey of another. That something bigger than ourselves will lead us to reclaiming the journey of our own lives. As the Australian Aboriginal woman Lilia Watson is famously credited for saying, "If you have come here only to help me, you are wasting your time. But if you have come because your liberation is bound up with mine, then let us work together." Perhaps you don't want to be that anonymous dude in the field to say, go that way, even though he was the cornerstone of everything. In the telling of it, I'll take a little moment because I go long. I haven't gone long enough. And Arlo Guthrie, when he was telling it, he went off about how that guy's wife was like, "You should have said your name. You should have said your name. Then you would have been remembered in history." Or maybe you don't want to be the caterpillar asking, "Who are you?" to everyone, or the hatter who turns the world upside down, or the queen that people love to hate, or perhaps, if not perhaps, the role of an artist or a teacher or a muse, a supporter in another's journey. I mean, there is nothing as satisfying as the feeling of helping another person live out their dreams. So one more quick fable about the artist Michelangelo before I finish. One day a neighbor saw him rolling this jagged boulder up the street onto his front step. It was huge, and it sat there for a couple days till Michelangelo took out his hammer and chisel and began to strike at the boulder. And the neighbor across the street watched from his window, and he became really curious, probably because it was loud and annoying, but it was also like this weird thing in the middle of the street. So he went out and he crossed the street and he said, "What are you doing hammering on that boulder?" To which Michelangelo thought about it and said, "There's an angel inside and I'm trying to let it out." So if you don't want any of those other archetypes, perhaps choose to be like him and be aware of the complex, vivid angels in another, in a neighbor, in an immigrant, in your church, and in the world. In doing so, releasing actually the angel that is in you. May it be so. Thank you for allowing me to join you. And now we are going to sing, which is good, to move our bodies. Breathe, remember to breathe. Immortal love, please rise in body or in spirit. Supposed to stand here. It's been a pleasure to be with you and be your guest today, to join this congregation's worship journey. Thank you for sharing. As you go, may we all be a little bit more present to the depth and breadth of the journey around us. Go in peace.